Today we're going to be taking a look at this 2023 Mazda CX-9. Mazda's making a lot of changes in their lineup, and they have a CX-90 that's out, and so this is kind of the last of this line. And I honestly believe that they could have kept the name because I don't think the differences in the vehicles are that great. You know, they just refreshed, and the CX-90 has an inline six. This has a 2.5 liter turbocharged engine, and it has 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. And I believe if you use premium fuel, it'll get up to 250 horsepower. So I feel like that's very good power, and I feel like this vehicle looks really, really good. And just for reference, we have a CX-5 here, and then we have a CX-50 right there. So we will go ahead and walk around this vehicle to start. So I like the wheels on this vehicle. So this is rocking 18-inch wheels. So they're not massive wheels. A lot of luxury vehicles have bigger wheels, so those are kind of small for the size of this vehicle. This is a mid-size SUV or crossover, depending upon how you see it. But I like the wheels, and I think that they're a good balance between style and comfort. And I like that you have plastic lining the wheel arches here. I love that shrouding, it protects the paint. I like that you have an indicator right here, and I like that it spans the entirety of the side view mirror. I like the use of chrome here. I think it's tasteful. I think it contrasts well. We'll zoom out with the dark paint. So I'm not mad at that. This vehicle is a little dusty because we have a ton of wind here in the Midwest, but this, they could have phased out. I think this is kind of an old school style, and this button looks faded like right now, and it probably was half faded when it came out of the factory, so I'm not a fan of that. But other than that, this vehicle does not have a bad angle on it. So it is parked very, very close to this vehicle, so I won't be able to pop the hatch on it. But as you can see, it says SkyActiv 5G, and the back of the vehicle looks really, really good. So it is a bit bulbous, and I think the styling that they're going to, that's wider and flatter, is definitely a bit more flattering and modern. But let's go ahead and take a look inside. And this vehicle does have a third row. So this is a 6-seater SUV. And one thing that I love about it is they don't try to make it a 7-seater SUV. So you have 2 seats here, 2 seats here, and a third row in the back. All right, so I switched sides because I need a little bit more room, but I like that there's kind of like a clear coat here to protect the edge of the door. And these doors do feel solid. I will say that this vehicle does suffer from that hollow sound that a lot of Mazdas do. And it's frustrating because these are upscale vehicles and the doors are mid-weight. They don't feel cheap at all. This door is actually pretty large, honestly. But that sound, it's definitely not pleasing to the ear. So this is soft touch, this is hard touch, soft touch, and this is leather. I love the accenting here, especially this chrome strip right here. I think that's pretty dope. All right, and this window switch is nice. It does appear that this vehicle has 4 automatic windows on it. The cup holder here is very functional. You have a little cutout for your bottles to sit. You have a speaker grill here. Stepping inside, there is a little bit of a step up. So if you're a shorter person, keep that in mind, but it's not unbearable. These seats are pretty comfortable. They are firm. We'll take a look at this one. I like that you have the armrest here. I love the perforation here. They're not doing too much, and they don't really have stitching. There's some in this headrest, but this is pretty cushiony. And these seats will last a very long time, and I like that. They don't have a ton of bolstering, but they have some grip, surprisingly, so you're not going to slide in and out of these seats. Obviously, you know, looking here, we do have mat pockets here, the 2-fold situation. I kind of wish the backs of these seats were hard backs, but I still think this leather will hold up. It's pretty firm. You do have vents back here, and the controls here are pretty straightforward. Obviously, this is damaged, but you have a cup holder here, and then you also have USB-A charge ports here. So I love that, and I love how functionally the placement of the cup holders are. The seats, I would say, are kind of mid-sized. The bolstering here is not significant. It does give the seat kind of a more smaller feel, even though it's not. And as you can see, this seat bottom is very, very wide. Even if you're a big person, you'll be fine in this vehicle. Here is a look at the cockpit here. This is a traditional Mazda style. You have LED lighting in here, but it's just soft LED lighting. You also have a sunroof. We'll look at that later. You have grab handles back here. Let's go ahead and hop into the back. Before I do, I will say you can adjust these seats. So these seats do adjust so that you can give yourself a little bit more leg room in the back. And so sitting right here, before I get back there, I have, you know, decent leg room back here. I'm over 6 feet. This is as far back as the seat goes. So, you know, I mean, it's not like a massive amount of leg room, but you do have a significant amount. And I wear a size 13 and my feet are fine. This footwell is very, very nice. So one other thing that's cool about this vehicle is that you can either use the middle pass-through to get in the back, or you can move the seat up and fold it over a little bit and then step in the back that way. Either way, you know, it takes a little bit of yoga, but not too much. So we'll go ahead and move this seat back. And so this is pretty good right here. So not a ton of leg room there. So like if you have tall individuals, you definitely don't want to set them back here. But if you have somebody who's like 5'5", 5'6" up here, and I'm back here, this is fine. These seats are a little bit recessed and they are a little bit cocked up a little bit. You're kind of sitting at an angle, but not too much of an angle. The headrest and everything is comfortable back here. These seats are firm as well, but they're a little bit softer to me than the second row. You do have a cup holder back here, and you do have a window, and you do have a light back here. You don't have any vents or any charge ports back here. And this is a 2023, so that is a little bit disappointing. So, you know, I would love to have really a vent in the ceiling up here and then some charge ports back here. The windows are mid-size, so you're not going to feel claustrophobic, but the cabin doesn't feel super airy. It definitely has a low-profile feel in this cabin. So, you know, a panel roof would maybe help with that, but it's not too bad. And then if I wanted to get out of this vehicle, I can just do that and slide the seat forward and slide out. Right, so hopping in the front, I will point this out. I like this black trim here. I think it contrasts well with the chrome accenting and the paint. I would not change this. I would not want this to be like matte or a textured surface. I know I said that on the CX-50, but just the overall aesthetic of this vehicle doesn't fit that. I will point out you do have a keyhole here and this button, which the keyhole I don't mind, but the button is kind of old school. This door is wide as well, and it's large, and the opening is very, you know, spacious, so you can hop in. Even if you're a larger person, you don't have to squeeze into this vehicle. No complaints here with this door. I mean, this is soft touch-ish. This is soft touch. This is hard. This is soft touch. This cup holder placement is cool. It's for bottles, not really your big gulp, but you do have electronic mirrors here. The mirrors are not heated. I think that'll probably be a trim thing. And then you do have 4 automatic windows. That button obviously opens the tailgate. You definitely have an electronic seat here. The overall aesthetic of this cabin looks good. Again, there is a little bit of a step up. And so hopping in, the seats are firm and you do feel nestled in here. There's a good mix of bolstering and cushion. I like the perforations here. I like the design of the seat. It looks styled, but just not overly styled. This cabin, just hopping in a ton of new cars, it doesn't look super futuristic. I do love that the vents have this, you know, kind of hexagonal, semi-hexagonal shape here. I think that's attractive. You do have heated seats in here. Everything in here is straightforward, is what I will say. So it's easy to operate the HVAC system, the heated seats. This display could be a little bit taller, a little bit bigger. This is a 2023, but this is an outgoing style, so I get that. Looking down here, I mean, I love that you have an electronic parking brake and that you have navigation. That's dope. I'm not even mad at the scroll wheel. You kind of have to make compromises, and I get that, but I wish you had like an electronic button to engage the different modes like reverse and park and all of that. It's just interesting. Mazda doesn't really change those until they make, you know, massive changes to the vehicle, or they, you know, do a new iteration. But I think in 2023, that's something that you have to have. You do have radar cruise control. I don't see lane keep assist. Oh, actually you do have lane keep assist, so that's cool. You have hill ascent assist. This is an analog digital display. This does look a little bit old school. I would love for this center dial to be electronic and this side dial to just be analog if you're doing that kind of blend, or really just an all digital display. But I get it, they're changing over the models in 2023. That's something that I would consider. If I was thinking about buying this vehicle, I might wait and get a CX-90, honestly. Even though there's a lot of hype on these vehicles, on those vehicles, you might wait just for those little touches, you know, to be changed so that the vehicle feels the model year that it's in, honestly. This VIN is fine. I kind of wish this was a more silvery chrome accent instead of like a matte gray. So, and I kind of wish you had a flat bottom steering wheel, but I like that you have, you know, additional little haunches or whatever here in the steering wheel. It helps you to grip it. It's leather wrapped. It feels comfortable. It doesn't feel cushy. This is a traditional Mazda steering wheel. Very straightforward. Volume here. You can seek and back there. You know, telephone controls. So this is overall a very nice vehicle, and it definitely feels upscale. You know, I honestly, I would say like this is on par with like something like an Acura or something like that, in my opinion. This is a look at the door. I kind of wish you had a tweeter here, but you do have a speaker here and one there. I don't think this is a subwoofer. That would be cool if it was, but the doors feel solid. Everything closes solidly. Very solid, honestly. And this is a great positioning for this grab handle, and this is very ergonomic. I love the feel of this door and this vehicle overall. It feels quality and it feels upscale. And that's what you want when you're getting a Mazda. You want that upscale feel. Here's a look at the cabin. And so I feel like these chairs are kind of like black suits, and I'm here for that. Here's your sunroof. Not super huge. I wish it was a little bit, you know, wider. I mean, this way, I would say longer. Width-wise, it's fine, but I wish it was a little bit longer. Unfortunately, I cannot get into the hatch, but that's okay. I do like the gloss here. I think this is a nice touch right here. That's pretty dope. I like this trim in here. And again, I wish you had a heated mirror. I think that's a miss in 2023. And this is, you know, Mazda's flagship SUV. All right, another miss. This thing does not have hood struts. This is supposed to be an upscale vehicle, more upscale than like a Ford Explorer, and it definitely feels that way, but I mean, that's a huge miss without the struts. I mean, I know people don't pop the hood as much anymore, but that kind of sucks. I'm actually glad to see a turbocharged engine because that would make this vehicle ride more refined. When you get into larger midsize SUVs with third rows, like if they have more traditional drivetrains, you got to kind of push them harder to get to the power. And on these turbo engines, you can be like 2,000 RPM and at full torque, and I love that. So I'm not lamenting that. Like if you want naturally aspirated engines, they're going the way of the dodo bird. So as you can see, there is your alternator there. And so all the necessities are accessible: battery, air box, you know, even your alternator if you wanted to try that. Again, this is a 4-banger, so you can change your plugs pretty easily, and all the fluids are super accessible. And this is a pretty large, like, engine compartment, so I'm not complaining about that. It's a little bit recessed, but I just miss the fact that it doesn't have struts. And the hood does feel aluminum. And I guess one last thing I'll mention is that I would love to see metal plating here. That would definitely set this vehicle off and give it a more premium feel. But overall, Mazda did a really good job designing this vehicle. It's kind of sad that it's going away in this iteration, but I get it. You got to be ahead of the curve or you'll get left behind. But yeah, this is definitely a worthy look. You know, and I would say, like, on a vehicle like this, it's honestly a super worthy look because there's a lot of hype surrounding the CX-90. So you may have to pay over MSRP, and people may look down on this model a little bit, which is an advantage to where if it sits for a while at a dealership, the price could go down and you could catch a good deal on it. And this is a very, very good look. I love how wide and imposing. It's just a classy design. Like, it's not doing too much. It's like, I know I'm a baddie and I'm understated at the same time. I don't have to try hard because you want me. So there you have it, the Mazda CX-9.